Welcome to Grey Lab Color Connect. It's wonderful to be with you all today. So Grey Lab is a project and our aim is to bring color to the grey areas of business. And one of the grey areas of business is marketing.
Yes.
And so today we bring red, right?
We do, absolutely.
To the table alongside
It's blending.
all sorts of our different colors. But we're going to be talking about marketing. And for that, we have the wonderful Mags.
Hello.
Yeah,
hi.
So my first question to you is very open.
Love
and
this.
It's just, what would you like to say to introduce yourself?
Okay, so I'm Mags, and I'll start with where I'm now and then
Perfect.
whatever. So it's in no logical order, whatever. So I'm Mags. I'm proud to be the founder of the Marketing Performance Framework. That is 100% mega proud achievement. But I basically am the MD of Red Button Marketing Training. We've had an interesting journey. And recently as well, the Director of Performance for Sales, Purple. And I basically have been in sort of professional services, radio sales, recruitment, done all kinds of things, and then got to the ripe old age of 48, 2 kids at home, lovely job, and decided that I was done with marketing being undervalued. So thought I'd quit the job, put myself on the line, and create something that showed people what it could look like. So hence we started doing something very different. So we're educators and trainers.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you about. What do we mean by that? Marketing educator.
Yeah.
And I think this is very important,
It
actually.
is.
It's a very, very important nuance from what I've gathered and understood about the difference about how we could do marketing. So can you tell us about that?
Absolutely, because I think it starts with something, and you'll see the purple things have got like M's and question marks everywhere.
On the table,
so we decided with Performance for Sales to kind of go all out there and tackle that very question of what is it anyway? Because I think there's so much confusion, mixed perceptions, mixed ideas, interpretations of actually what the word means in the first place. So we were like, what the blinking heck is this thing? Because when you use the word marketing, someone will say, but I don't need to advertise. I feel like saying, forgive me, but did I say advertising or did I say marketing? And it is this, it's a language thing. It's words and language. And it becomes really difficult to navigate around that. And when people go, I'm far too busy running my business, I don't have time, because, you know, we get this and people go, I don't need to do it. I have enough work. I'm busy running my business. And so all of a sudden, everything is so disjointed because we haven't got clarity on what it really is. I tend to say it's really good if you look at marketing in 2 ways. Right. This is why education is so important, because there's the process of marketing and the delivery on the process. And I think we tend to, and especially now with digital as well, I'm just generalizing, but we can all leap to the delivery bit. We all go, marketing, I'm just going to think the delivery on something. Like I'm going to do some social flyers, I'm going to do some social media, I'm going to have a website. We go straight to that output delivery bit. But all we do, if we do that all the time, we're just taking it further and further and further away from the core of a business. Unless, to be fair, businesses have a visible way of keeping that connection. Because otherwise we get into that place of somebody somewhere is doing the marketing. Sometimes, that could be internal, external, whatever, they're doing it. But meanwhile, in the business, there's day-to-day challenges, operational issues, commercial issues, and we're not connecting this process to those. So it's a massive area. So hence the need for education in the process to show how you can bolt them together. So that's kind of why we've really wanted to kind of disrupt things in a lovely way, hopefully, because we are quite nice, really. And just showcase this part of marketing. Because if you look at Google and AI, the first line, it will tell you, if you go, what is marketing? The first thing that appears is, it is a management process.
It's a management process.
So,
Can we do business without doing marketing? Or whether we are aware of not, we're doing marketing, even if we're not doing it, and then we're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to go all out, and I mean, this might be recorded, and hey, whatever. But I'm going to go. No, you can't.
You can't. I agree.
Because somebody, I forget who it was. I should know, but I'm sure there was a quote years ago when a guy said, "There's only two processes in business: innovation and marketing."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll leave you to think about that.
Mic drop.
Yeah, boomer. But you know, I know that it's a bigger picture than that, but it's interesting when you look into it. It really actually is really interesting, and I think that's what makes this work and education so enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I agree very much, because when we disconnect the why we do things and then the strategy aspect to the how, to like you were saying, like I jumped onto like I should do social media. I don't really know what I'm doing it for and what it's going to do for me, but I should do it. So I jump and do it. I'm more likely to do it not in the right way or not in a productive way, and maybe in a way that's not really serving me, rather than if I have a strong idea of what I'm doing when. Because I believe we probably are doing marketing in a lot more in situations than we thought.
I think this is it, and I think it can still be, you know, difficult for people to maybe navigate, certainly maybe even where we're coming from with this. But I think, you know, like Joe and Liz are people who are very much delivering on that process, you know, and it's about these sort of shared values. But I think it is this thing around where does it kind of start? It's where you place marketing, but also it's the more like the role and responsibility that your marketing process has in your business. So it actually has a responsibility to move things around. So then should you use an external company, like say Joe at Spark Labs or whatever, to help you deliver on your process, because it's not somebody else's, it's yours if it's your business, someone will come in and help you on your process, then I think what happens is if we position it right and see it in the right way, you really strengthen that relationship with your external providers. You're more bought in, and if you have people in your team, they're more bought into that. And it's very much mindset. This is where the link is.
Completely.
It's around thinking. Nothing we talk about in the education that we're doing is necessarily cost, apart from paying us for the training. But it's about our mindset. It's about how we think. It's about that thought process.
The thought process that then has an influence on the management, like you were saying.
Absolutely.
So I agree with you in terms of marketing being a bad word most of the time, like a scary word. It's too big, too much for lots of people. What's your approach to that, and what could we share to like a broader audience to say that if it's your case, if you resonate with the idea of marketing that let me stop you there, I don't even want to go there. How can we help them reframe?
I think reframe's a good word, because that's one of the ways that we kind of help through education. So we bring like a visible framework, really. That's what it is. That's why it's called the Marketing Performance Framework. So it's performing as a process in your business. And it essentially, all we're saying is the knowledge, a lot of that point you've made there, Clem, is down to people going, I'm not a marketing person. I love that phrase. I love that phrase. I will just say it's quite funny. So I did some lecturing at Teesside Uni, and I met this woman coming out of this classroom, and she would finish the lecture before I was going in, and she went, oh, hello. I went, oh, hi. And she went, oh, what do you do? I said, oh, I'm just doing a marketing presentation. Oh, right. She went, oh, you seem all right. She went, I don't normally like marketing people. I was like, great. That's so funny. Marketing people. Oh, dear me. And I thought it was hilarious. So I think a lot of the time it's down to this perceived lack of knowledge and perceived lack of thinking there's some expertise. And I think what's good to kind of try and take the sort of scare away is it's not like you've got to know how to code a website. You haven't got to worry about the latest algorithms of this, that, and the other. You haven't maybe got to learn to design a graphic. You haven't got to, these sort of things. I think if you split process and delivery, you know there are a whole boatload of great people out there that will help on delivery. So that calms us down straight away. This mindset thing, it goes, okay, that's fine. But I just need to reframe how I see this process in my business and how I'm sort of plonking it. I'm mic dropping it in my business. What do I mean by that? Well, we just mean the connection of 4 key things in your business. That's it. You know, basically, without going into the framework, but you know, it's your clients, your potential clients, what you offer and how you communicate. If you can look at what those connections are that join those together and see that as a step-by-step process, it does actually make you feel a bit more, okay, that's fine, I can see that now. And then your confidence builds, because the 3 key skills of marketing are confidence, resilience, and patience. Not, can I design a website or do that video? Because they're outputs, and there are amazing people that will help you with the outputs. So I think if we pull away from stressing about that and just know that it's a process that you own in your business, and know that, you know, it's not a case of you're going to put one advert out and get 500 people inquiring. It would be nice, but we've got to be realistic.
Yeah.
So if we see it as a continuous process in the business and it's just moving knowledge around, you know, we've got someone legal, yeah. So the expertise and knowledge you need in your marketing process is really your legal knowledge. It's your knowledge. And I think that's the important thing, which makes it much more digestible.
Yeah, and also empowering.
Yeah, and empowering. And then you feel like, oh, right, actually, I do feel all right about this.
Yeah.
I can do that. And it becomes easier. And then it's a word that doesn't make us go, what am I doing?
Exactly.
You know?
And what we said about marketing being such a bad word, we could say as well for sales.
Sales, yeah.
I'm sure that resonated with you. And and also connection with performance for sales.
Yeah,
it comes in naturally hand in hand, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's the journey we've been on. So we looked at trying to deliver this training and develop that, and we've had challenges. We're really open about that. You know, we've not necessarily had an easy run because of the fact we use the word marketing and the overwhelming perceptions that conjures up. So we as a business in Darlington, we're not going to transform and change it. We'd like to, but we're not going to, you know, we'd love to think we could change the world overnight, but it's not going to happen. We understand the landscape, we get that. So we have to be patient and resilient and overcome challenges. With our message, it's ironic because of the world we're in. But on the other hand, I think it's better because we're very transparent. We work with our own framework, you know, we understand. So I think it's about being relatable. So if marketing is performing as a process in your business, the reason is for sales, for business success, really. So it should work hand in hand. So hence performance for sales was created so that other businesses and other agencies and advisors can then deliver that framework to their clients. Joe. So we are delighted that Joe is a licensed provider as well. So it's just giving more people that tool in their toolbox to be able to then, when they're working with clients, help those clients navigate their marketing process.
That's definitely one of my key takeaways, and that's why I started with this question on education. But all my conversations with Liz, with Paula, with Joe, with yourself has really changed the way I approach this idea of marketing. And when I hear you all tell me, I just want to explain to my clients, you know, explain what they can do and the change. It's really this education. While I think maybe that stereotypically the idea we would have is like this person coming in, like you said, and telling me about advertising and being the one that knows. And telling you what to do and ruling you kind of thing, and being all scary and being all like inaccessible, while it's absolutely not that. It's like no, let me help you, but for me to help you, I need to tell you stuff. I need for you to understand things. I need for you to gain that knowledge.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really important point, because sometimes people go to other people, look, just give me a marketing plan, and people can write a plan. We, you know, people can do that, but actually long term, what's more sustainable and healthier for your head is if you've got an actual track that keeps you on track, that's a reference point. So actually having, and there's a lot of frameworks in business now, and you know, and there's a lot of things out there, good tools in the box, but if you've got something that actually gives you a visual of that, what that could look like, because often it's spending time on marketing. The one thing I've heard so much is, oh, I've put it in my diary, I've put out next Thursday at 3, I'm going to spend a couple of hours, put time aside for marketing. I don't know how many people, we've all been to networking events and different events where we must have all heard someone say, we've all been there probably, you know, need to block out some time, I've got to do some marketing. I feel like I haven't done any for ages. My question is, what are you doing at 3 o'clock on Thursday for 2 hours that's going to change the business? What are you actually doing in the 2 hours? What does that even mean? I've got to be honest, I think that's a load of baloney, because what are you actually doing? I bet you get to 3 on the Thursday and go, right, I thought I'd do a bit of marketing. So what does that mean? I'll quickly do a LinkedIn post, or, do you know what I mean? Is this a common mindset that we're in?
I think so.
And
that's what we see as well.
It's crazy.
Around, like, I mean, if you Google it, you get completely lost and overwhelmed by like all of these stuff that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And it comes like, I think for most people, like, then it creates like this to-do list inside of you of going,
Yeah.
should do this, should do that, but forget about the bigger picture.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this thing, a to-do list, is not actually sustainable. It is in some ways, but how is it going to help you in 3 months? If you've got a to-do list of what you've got to do in the next week, what's going to happen in 3 months if you have a challenge? Would you naturally at this point think that your marketing process could be the way that you would get solutions? Probably not. But actually it could be. And it's just reverse thinking.
It's reverse thinking.
Because if you've got a clear process that's got, say, 12 things in front of you that you know when you work on those 12, you're undertaking kind of effective marketing activities, that starts to go, oh, right, okay, this makes a bit more sense. And I've been in situations where there've been, say, 3 people in a marketing team, and someone's come in, the boss, who's got no blinking clue what they do. And when I was at a firm as well, I'd be in the market, people would not come in. I'm not that scary, but people would not come in because they didn't really know what I did. And they were too scared to come in case they got asked to do something that they didn't understand. But, you get teams where they go, we're really busy. We're in marketing and we're really busy. And some people who, again, not have that perception of what it is, go, that's really good. It must be great if the marketing team are busy. The marketing team are busy. That's got to be a good thing. But the question is, busy doing what? Because then it's like, how do you measure the effectiveness of all that work? What is it? How do you track it? How do you measure it? And then it's the first thing to go, because people go, well, whereas actually changing thinking, just change thinking. It's a management process, like accounting,
and this consistency. So tell me more about the mindset. Obviously, that would be my thing. Tell me more about the connection with mindset. So I loved what you said about confidence, resilience, patience. And what was the other?
That's it. 3.
The 3.
Confidence, resilience, patience. Yeah. I mean, there's probably more, but we go with those 3.
That's brilliant. And particularly for you, what does it mean in terms of your why you do that, and why? So you said that there was this frustration about like being, seeing how marketing was done in your previous jobs and going, no, come on, we can do much better than that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, and that's why I left, because I think, when I can't explain it actually, in a way, because it's mental. When I think back, I had a great job, and I loved it. And I was like, stick a rock, if you chop me in half. I think I had that firm's name in my entire being because I just loved it so much, and I could never see me going. And then all of a sudden I thought, I'm done. Not with them, by the way, because we're all friends. But I felt as though I cannot be the only person on this planet who's struggling to explain what marketing is and doing a job. I'm like, this is mental. I know what's going on. And it's like the little swan thing, isn't it? Everyone sees this top bit, but no one really knows what goes on underneath. And I thought, I think it's about time we try to actually call it out and actually explain it for what it is. Because if I could picture myself, I'd be running around the departments and talking to everyone and pulling this and doing that. And I used to think, how do I explain that? If and then someone said, oh, you should be a consultant. And I remember thinking, how the hell can I be a consultant? Because what do I actually do? And even I was sat there going, I don't design graphics. I'm not really a PR company. I'm not a social media company. I don't do this and I don't do that. And I was like, blinking heck, what do I do? I held a job down for 30 years. And then I was like, actually, I think the bit missing is the thinking, is the actual coordination of all the bits. So what are the bits?
So that what got you to explore.
Yeah, and that's what drove me, 100%. That and a good divorce drove me to. I can do this, you little so and so. Sorry, he's not here, thank God. No one knows him, I don't think. But it was. I'm like, no, I will show you. So there was a little bit of that. I'm being really honest. But also that I felt very driven by purpose.
So the purpose, the meaning,
100%.
yeah, the
Yeah.
impact as well,
Yeah.
the difference that can be made.
Yeah. And I always remember that I was sat on my sofa, I was in my pajamas, and I was going to a client meeting to try and win my first client. I was like, God. And I was like, so if he says to me, what are you going to do for us? What am I going to say? So I sat on my sofa and I drew, and I kind of thought, well, I guess I can only say what I stand for. What do I stand for? Well, I suppose that when I did something, I was doing that. And I guess when I did something, I did that. And I kind of did this little thing, drew a little picture, and I sort of put a circle around it. I thought, well, that's fun. That looks a bit like a button. That'll do. And I rocked up to this client, and he said, so what are you going to do for us then? So I looked at him and I went, ooh. So imagine your business is a button. He looked at me and he went, right. I said, it's got these things. I'm going to bring it together, and that's what I'm going to do. And he went, right, okay. I was like, crikey. And oh my God. And then, and red, because I like red, you know.
Yeah.
And my mum, when I left home, she said, you can't sew. And this is absolute God's honest truth. I left home 30 odd years ago, but when I left, she said, in this life, as long as you can sew a button on, you'll be fine. And I phoned her and I went, you're not going to believe it. Mum, I've called my business Red Button Marketing. I was Red Button Marketing then. Red Button Marketing. And I was like, oh my God, that's so fun. And then when I went to another client and I was doing some work, and I remember sitting there because I'd just left my job, and they said, so we'll leave you to get on with it then? I went, yeah, it's fine. He said, so you're all right? You can just get on and do the marketing? I went, yeah, it's fine. And he went out the room. I sat there, I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm just doing the marketing. I was sat there, cold sweat, and I thought, no, I'll be fine. I was doing some stuff. And I thought, for God's sake, remember the button. And that was way back in 2017. And it was only then at that point, again, did I look again and realise that probably there was more in it than maybe I'd given it credit for. And had some consultancy with Teesside Uni back in 2018. And from then have further developed that framework and what it really means. But I think it's like anything, you know, it was in me, it was all there, but I had to understand it. You know what I mean?
I do.
So that's kind of been the interesting journey.
And that's very, very interesting as well in the light of sort of the mindset work that one can do. It's all about that, this, you know, this awareness, bringing to the conscious level what's unconscious, and going like, okay, what is actually going on? So bringing that to the surface, and it sounds like that's what you've done with a pinch of innovation too. It obviously pushes also your comfort zone, and you're like, all right, what about that? And it makes you challenge a lot of things, I'm sure, when you explore that.
A lot of challenges.
That's actually what I do. Let's find out what that process is, and how can I explain that to people.
When you say it like that, Clem, do you know what? That's absolutely right, because it was all in there.
It was all in
there.
It
was just about how I get that out of head into something, and that what then drives us is that's why it's not about us necessarily doing something for somebody else all the time. It's about more education and empowerment,
empowering them,
because that's much for us. It's like, therefore that is now why we're very ecosystem driven and work with other businesses who can help deliver. So we're not that agency, and we've worked hard to come away from the perception that we are, but we keep the word marketing in our name because we value it. But we were Red Button Marketing and training, and we still had confusion about what we do. So we dumped and sent it off on an adventure and became marketing training, which I think is clearer. But that is kind of what we do. So it has been a journey.
It is, and I think it's a lot deeper as well than most people realize. And you have realized it because by the way you have been able to uncover and bring awareness to what you do, you're then able to do that with others. Like, let's bring that awareness. Let's connect the dots for you.
Exactly.
I can make the decisions for you. I'm not interested in that. I'm not here to boss you around.
No.
I'm here to help you.
For you to join your dots. That's why it's a button. It's joining 4 things. We are joining 4 dots, guys. But it's absolutely right. And I think the best thing we've learned is by delivering our own framework. I've learned more about my own thing.
Of course.
It's like, okay. This guy said, could you do some delivery about supply chain? I went, oh yeah, that's fine. I was like, supply chain? Can I? And then I looked at the framework and went, oh my God, actually,
I can.
It's in there. It's there. It's like there. So it's really developed a lot now. So we're sort of proud of that. But I think that's why I want to share, and it is about education. It is about not to be fearful of learning. And the other barrier is when people go, I know marketing. I don't need to be taught marketing. I know marketing. That you know, you're a bit like, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it can be difficult too. Yeah,
because people might not see a marketing process
Yeah.
as the solution to some commercial challenges.
Yeah.
But it just depends how you think and see it.
Mm.
If you, it's like you just unlock a door
Yeah.
and then you step inside and you can now see a whole raft of opportunities.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
unless you're prepared to just
Yeah. Yeah.
step in, as they say,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, so yeah.
Before we move on to questions, and I think with who we've got in the room, there's going to be some potentially interesting conversations going. Can you tell us about like a big or big plural mindset breakthrough? So
Yeah.
those light bulb moments or also some challenges sometimes that tend up to be very challenging, but also a big gift in
Yeah.
your progress.
Yeah. I think one of the ones that I always mention, and it stays with me forever, was when I was at college and I went to go to college and I didn't have the right qualifications to get on the course. And I wanted to do the diploma, but the woman said no, because you've got rubbish GCSEs or CSEs or O levels, whatever they were. You could only go on the City and Guilds. And I was like, oh, no. So I wrote a letter to her. Her name was Marguerite Pavek, larger than life character. She was head of catering school at Luton Barnfield College. And I wrote her a letter pleading for an interview. So she gave me an interview in early August. And I went and had an interview and I bust a gut with that woman. And she wrote me a letter and she wrote back, based on the interview alone, I'll give you a place on the diploma course. And she came to me on the first day and she looked at me, she pulled me to one side, she looked at me and she went, but I'm telling you now, don't tell anyone you're on this course and you're not qualified. And I'm telling you now, it's yours to lose. And those words, when she went, it's yours to lose, I was like, God, okay. And do you know what? I've never forgotten that.
Yeah.
I've always thought, for me, that was a big issue. Do you know what I mean? In terms of if I've had challenges, I've always sort of remembered that and thought it's mine to lose, or I've got it already. It's that different. It's almost like I'm already there and I want to stay there. Do you know what I mean? So that was a bit of a one for me. And then oddly enough, when I got in my last job, when one of my bosses said, God, Mags, you're so defensive. I went, yeah. And actually, he did me a big favour.
Yeah.
Because I had to understand what he meant by that.
Yeah.
So how was I coming across, but maybe what was driving it?
Yeah.
And then I think the other one on a very, very personal level is when I had poorly children. I needed to be resilient. And I think not quitting and keeping going. So that was equally a bit of a moment, to be fair. So, you know, when you do some work in James Cook Hospital reception area and that sort of thing, it's a bit tough. But because life throws all kinds your way. So you've just got to kind of find your resilience, really. So those probably are my key ones.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. And again, for me, it's another proof that your own business and going into your own business is obviously, you know, we do it for professional reasons, for impact, but it's such an empowering journey.
Yeah, it is.
Such a self-discovery.
I think just before, sorry, just might take too much time, but just very quickly, there is another one that comes to mind. And I think this is really important. And when I did have a poorly child and I was trying to do some stuff in the business, I got the opportunity to go to this day where there were these investors and this, that, and the other. And it was through Teesside Uni. And I was under pressure because I really couldn't really go. I didn't have any presentations done really. And poorly child, it was, oh my God. And the guy said, look, if you can even make it for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, we'll give you a spot. And I was like, I just can't. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh, look, I'm going to have to try and go. So I rustled up 3 slides on a presentation. And I was like, no sleep, you know, poorly child, all going on, really stressed, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I'm just going to rock up. So I walked in, he went, oh my God, you've arrived. I was like, I thought I've just got to do it. Everyone else had prepared these pitch decks, done all this stuff. And I stood up there and actually I think I had 1, maybe 2 slides on a presentation. I just stood, said something, did something. And anyway, one guy came over to me at the end and he said, oh, I'll have a chat with you. I mean, okay, it didn't materialise into much in the end, but we went on a journey and we did a bit of work with him. And he had a meeting. But the guy that had said to go, he said to me afterwards, was that your best presentation ever? No. I went, no. But he said, but was it good enough? And I kind of went, yeah, it was good enough. And he said, and you showed up. And you had a go. And I kind of thought, well, actually, to be fair, as much as that was incredibly stressful, and I winged it.
What an achievement.
But
No?
I felt good. And it was when he said, but was it good enough?
Yeah.
And it reminded me sometimes we can overthink sometimes the
Of course,
detail
of course.
when going and doing is really what you need to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that really is a good learning with trusting yourself, isn't it? Like,
yeah, yeah,
no, I've got it. I've
yeah,
got it here.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like you said, like it's in there.
yeah,
It's inside of me. Like I've done it. I've got so much experience.
yeah,
I can believe in it. I
yeah,
can start seeing it as well
yeah,
as others. And
yeah,
yes, it can be more polished some days than others. But the quality, the essence
yeah,
is there, right?
absolutely.
Mm.
Confidence, resilience, and patience, I guess.
Confidence, resilience, and patience. We're gonna use that as our final words for the recording. And then we'll move on to questions. Any questions?